This is Media Beat on Mediabistro.com. I'm Danya Blaze, and we are joined today by Andrew Rossi. He is the filmmaker behind Page One Inside the New York Times, a brand new documentary which takes readers behind the scenes into the world's paper of record, really. Andrew, welcome again.
Thank you. Thanks again for having me.
You got unprecedented access to the Times. You got to shoot them for a full year. Tell us what a typical day was like in shooting.
So again, the premise of the film was to have a play within a play, which means that each of the individual stories the writers were reporting on a given day would end up telling us something about where the media landscape is headed. And then the New York Times itself is going through this broader story. So typically I would arrive on the third floor, which is where the media desk is located, check in with Bruce Headlam, who's the media desk editor, and see what stories he was thinking of assigning for that day. And then I would have different plans with each of the writers. And it was a process where I would ask them, who are you talking to today? What interviews are you doing? What stories are you covering? And see how those stories might fit into the film. And just basically, turn my camera on. It was myself shooting. I didn't have like a boom mic operator, a field producer with a monitor. It was a very intimate sort of dynamic between myself and the writers. I would typically sit on their filing cabinets near their cubicles and just watch and wait for something to happen.
And there's one, I think it was Michael Hirschhorn, who says that the New York Times sets the public agenda. It dictates really what we talk about in this country, but that a lot of people don't know that the paper's the source of it. Why and how do you think that has happened?
Sometimes we see things in aggregation sites or other places online. There's not like a digital barcode that's attached to the original information that the boots on the ground of the New York Times has produced. And so you see that information kind of filtering out into so many different platforms, which is wonderful. I mean, that's one of the beauties of this sort of social media connected world we live in. However, it's important for people to realize that a lot of that information does come originally from a story in the Times.
What did you set out to prove in this film? And now that it's over, do you think that you've done that?
That's a great question. I think I didn't necessarily, again, have like an agenda. I wanted to prove merely what the writers themselves would prove, meaning that the film is about going in there and seeing what's going on inside the New York Times building, what it takes to do the kind of reporting they do. You could go in there and you could say, wow, like it's such a bloated enterprise. There's so many people doing things and they're wasting money. This is so antiquated. It would seem from the film festivals that we played at, people actually are coming out feeling that they have a newfound sort of appreciation for the work that editors and writers do, the curation that goes into creating the stories that appear on the front page or within the pages of the Times. If that's what they take away, then I'm pretty happy with that.
Okay, great. In our next segment, I want to talk a little bit more about being a filmmaker and get
Absolutely.
some advice from you on that front. We're here with Andrew Rossi. He is the director and co-producer of the new documentary, Page One Inside the New York Times. You're watching Media Beat on Mediabistro.com.